The meeting room was cold. Commander Velrus sat at the head of the long metal table, his reptilian face twisted in anger. Around him sat 12 officers from different alien species, all wearing the dark blue uniforms of the Galactic Enforcement Coalition. They were looking at screens showing numbers, maps, and damage reports. None of them looked happy. 17 supply depots destroyed, Velrus said slowly, his voice like grinding stones. 4 military bases blown up. An entire patrol fleet disabled and left floating in space. All in 3 months. He slammed his clawed hand on the table. The sound echoed in the quiet room. By one human. The officers shifted uncomfortably in their seats. One of them, a small insect-like creature named Threshik, raised a thin arm. Sir, we have tried to capture him 6 times. He always escapes. He knows our tactics. He knows our equipment. He moves like a ghost. Velrus turned his cold eyes to Threshik. Then we are not trying hard enough. Another officer spoke up. This one had blue skin and 3 eyes. Commander, perhaps we should negotiate. The human only attacks our military targets. He does not harm civilians. Maybe we can reach an understanding? No. Velrus stood up from his chair. He was very tall, nearly 3 meters high. The Coalition does not negotiate with terrorists. This human, Do-Hyun Park, has made us look weak. Every colony in the Outer Rim is watching. They see one man fighting us and surviving. If we do not stop him, others will follow his example. The room fell silent. Everyone knew Velrus was right. The Coalition controlled hundreds of planets, but their control depended on fear and respect. One human making them look foolish was dangerous. It gave people hope. Hope led to rebellion. Threshik clicked his mandibles nervously. What do you suggest, Commander? Velrus walked to the large window that showed the stars outside. His ship, the Sovereign Dawn, was the biggest warship in the Coalition fleet. It carried enough weapons to destroy a planet. But weapons meant nothing if you could not hit your target. We send the Phantom Corps, Velrus said without turning around. Team Apex specifically. The room erupted in whispers. Even hardened military officers knew that name. Team Apex was legendary. They were the Coalition's best killers, used only for the most dangerous missions. In 10 years, they had never failed. Not once, are you certain, sir? Threshik asked. Team Apex is expensive. They are currently on assignment in the core worlds. Pull them back, Velrus ordered. I want them here within 2 days. This human thinks he is clever. He thinks he can hide in his tunnels and play his little games. Team Apex will show him what happens when you challenge the Coalition. The officers began talking among themselves. Some looked relieved. Others looked worried. Sending Team Apex meant the Coalition was taking this seriously. It also meant they were scared. Velrus returned to his seat and pulled up a holographic image. It showed a man in his early 30s with dark hair and a tired face. He was wearing old mining equipment and holding some kind of improvised weapon. Do-Hyun Park, Velrus read from the file. Former engineer for the Earth Defense Force, worked in mining colony operations. No criminal record before the Coalition annexation. After we took control of his colony on Tertius 7, he refused relocation orders. Disappeared into the underground tunnel systems. Has been conducting guerrilla warfare ever since. Does he have a team? Someone asked. No. Intelligence confirms he works completely alone. No allies, no support network. No outside help. That seems impossible, said the blue-skinned officer. How can one man do so much damage alone? Velrus closed the hologram. That is what makes him dangerous. Humans are unpredictable. They do not follow logical patterns. This one has turned entire mining complexes into weapons. He uses our own technology against us. He strikes from nowhere and disappears before we can respond. Threshik looked at his datapad. According to psychological profiles, humans become more dangerous when they have nothing to lose. Park lost his home, his job, and his community. He is motivated by revenge. Then we will give him death, Velrus said coldly. Prepare a briefing for Team Apex. I want complete intelligence on Tertius 7. Every tunnel, every mine shaft, every possible hiding place. When they arrive, they will go directly to the surface and end this. The officers began gathering their equipment to leave. As they filed out of the room, Velrus stayed behind, looking at the image of Do-Hyun Park. The human was smiling in the picture. It was an old photo, taken before the Coalition came to his world. Before everything changed, Velrus did not understand humans. They were weak physically. Their lifespans were short. Their technology was primitive compared to most galactic species. But they were stubborn. Incredibly stubborn. They fought even when fighting was pointless. They resisted even when resistance meant death. The Coalition had conquered Earth 5 years ago. It had been easy. Humanity had no unified government, no strong military, no way to fight back against superior numbers and technology. Most humans had accepted Coalition rule. They worked in factories, mines, and farms. They followed orders. They survived. But some humans refused to accept defeat. They hid in mountains, deserts, and abandoned cities. They made weapons from scraps. They learned to fight in ways the Coalition did not expect. Most of these resistance fighters were caught and executed. But a few, like Do-Hyun Park, learned to survive. Velrus turned off the hologram and walked toward the door. In 2 days, Team Apex would arrive. In 3 days, this problem would be solved. The human would be dead, and the Coalition would restore order to the Outer Rim. What Velrus did not know was that at that exact moment, Do-Hyun Park was sitting in his underground workshop, watching a surveillance feed of the Sovereign Dawn. He had hacked into their communication systems weeks ago. He knew about the meeting. He knew about Team Apex. He knew they were coming. Do-Hyun took a sip from an old earth beer can he had saved for special occasions. He only had 3 left. This seemed like a good time to drink one. He set the can down carefully on his workbench and smiled. Elite team, he muttered to himself. Finally, something interesting. He stood up and walked to a wall covered in maps, diagrams, and notes. His workshop was a maze of stolen technology, improvised weapons, and homemade explosives. Every item had been scavenged from Coalition equipment. Every weapon had been built from parts they had thrown away as garbage. Do-Hyun had been an engineer before the war. He knew how things worked. He knew how to take them apart and put them back together in new ways. The Coalition had better technology, but they did not understand it the way he did. They used what they were given. Do-Hyun created what he needed. He began making preparations. If Team Apex was as good as their reputation, he would need to be ready. He would need traps, backup plans, and a lot of luck. But most importantly, he would need to do what humans did best. He would need to improvise. The transport ship landed on Tertius 7 just after dawn. The planet was mostly desert, with rust-colored rocks and deep canyons carved by ancient rivers that had dried up millions of years ago. The mining colonies had been built underground to escape the harsh sun and violent dust storms. Now those same tunnels were home to one very dangerous human. 5 figures stepped out of the transport ship. They moved with confidence like predators entering their hunting ground. This was Team Apex, and they had never lost. Their leader was Vexra, a feline humanoid with sleek black fur and glowing cybernetic eyes. She had been a soldier for 20 years and had killed more enemies than she could count. Her species was known for speed and precision. She never made mistakes. Behind her walked Hyejin Choi. She looked human, but she was not entirely. Coalition scientists had modified her genetics, giving her the ability to bend light around her body. She could become nearly invisible, perfect for sneaking into enemy territory. She had been taken from Earth as a child and trained to be a spy. She knew both human and alien ways of thinking. Next came Taejin Lim, the sniper. He was fully human, but his right arm had been replaced with a mechanical limb that contained a powerful railgun. He could hit targets from 3 kilometers away. His face showed no emotion. He had learned long ago that feelings were a weakness in his line of work. The 4th member was Grixon, a massive creature with 4 arms and thick, armored skin. He was the demolitions expert. If something needed to explode, Grixon made it happen. He carried enough explosives to level a small city. His species loved destruction, and the Coalition had given him plenty of opportunities to indulge that love. The last member of the team was Kyu Min Han. He looked like an ordinary human man in his late 20s, but his mind was extraordinary. Coalition technology had enhanced his brain, giving him psychic abilities. He could sense thoughts, feel emotions, and sometimes even predict what people would do before they did it. His eyes had a strange, distant look, as if he was always seeing something no one else could see. Vexra studied the barren landscape through her cybernetic eyes. They scanned for heat signatures, movement, and energy sources. Nothing. The area appeared completely empty. "He knows we are here," she said quietly. "Of course he does," Hyejin replied. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. If he could hack Coalition communications, He can detect our ship. He has been watching us since we entered orbit. Tajin adjusted his mechanical arm, running a diagnostic check. Then he is already preparing. We should move quickly. Grixon laughed, a deep rumbling sound. Let him prepare. I will bury him under a mountain of rock. No preparation will save him from that. No, Vexra said firmly. Commander Velrus wants him captured alive if possible. We need to interrogate him. Find out if he has shared coalition secrets with other resistance groups. If we must kill him, we make it quick and clean. But destruction should be our last option. Cumin closed his eyes and extended his awareness outward. His consciousness spread like invisible fingers searching for any sign of human thought patterns. After a moment, he opened his eyes and pointed toward a canyon system to the north. He is there. Below the surface. His mind feels strange, chaotic but focused, like controlled madness. He is thinking about us right now. What is he thinking? Vexra asked. Cumin frowned. He is excited, not afraid. He is looking forward to this. The team exchanged glances. Most targets showed fear when they learned Team Apex was hunting them.
Fear was normal.
Excitement was not. They began walking toward the canyon, their equipment perfectly suited for the terrain. Hijin scouted ahead, her form shimmering and fading until she was nearly invisible. Tajin took position at the rear, his eyes constantly scanning for ambush points. Grixon walked in the middle, ready to shield the others if an attack came. Cumin stayed close to Vexra, guiding them with his psychic senses. The canyon entrance was dark and uninviting. Old mining equipment lay scattered around, rusted and broken. Warning signs in multiple languages told people to stay out. The mines had been abandoned years ago, declared unsafe after a series of cave-ins. Perfect place to hide, Tajin muttered. Vexra activated her comm unit. Command, this is Team Apex. We are entering the target zone. Maintain orbit and monitor our signals, a voice crackled back. Confirmed, Team Apex. Good hunting. They entered the tunnels single file. Emergency lights still worked in some sections, casting strange shadows on the walls. The air smelled of dust and old machinery. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness, a steady rhythm that seemed to count down to something. Hijin moved ahead, invisible in the shadows. She had been exploring for 10 minutes when she stopped and whispered through her comm. Clear so far. No thermal signatures. No movement. But something feels wrong. Wrong how? Vexra asked. Too quiet. Too empty. Like a stage set up for a performance. Cumin suddenly grabbed Vexra's arm. Wait, I sensed something. Not thoughts exactly. More like anticipation. Like someone waiting for... The explosion cut him off. It was not close enough to hurt them, but it was loud enough to make everyone jump. Dust rained down from the ceiling. When they looked back, the tunnel entrance was gone, buried under tons of rock. Trapped, Grixon said, stating the obvious. Then the lights came on. All of them. The entire tunnel system lit up like midday, revealing a maze of corridors branching in every direction. And from speakers hidden in the walls, a voice spoke. It was male, human, and sounded almost friendly. Welcome to my home, Team Apex. Sorry about the mess. I was not expecting company. Vexra's fur bristled. She knew that voice from intelligence reports. Do-hyun Park. Surrender now and we will make this quick. Laughter echoed through the tunnels. Quick, where is the fun in that? Tell you what. I will give you a sporting chance. There are 5 of you and 1 of me. I will even let you keep your weapons. All you have to do is catch me. Tajin raised his railgun arm, tracking the sound, but it came from everywhere and nowhere at once. The speakers were scattered throughout the tunnel system. Arrogant fool, Tajin said quietly. Oh, and one more thing, the voice continued. I hope you are not afraid of tight spaces, because things are about to get uncomfortable. Cumin's eyes widened. He is activating something. I can feel machines starting up all around us. The tunnel began to shake. Not violently, but steadily. A deep grinding sound filled the air. Hijin appeared beside Vexra, her camouflage dropping in her shock. The walls are moving, she said. He has hydraulic systems throughout the complex. He is changing the layout of the tunnels. Move, Vexra shouted. Team Apex ran as sections of the tunnel began closing behind them. Walls slid together like massive doors. Ceilings lowered. Floors rose. The entire underground complex was one giant machine, and Do-hyun Park controlled it all. They had no choice but to go deeper, following the only paths that stayed open. Every turn forced them further into the maze. Every choice led them exactly where their target wanted them to go. Cumin tried desperately to lock onto Do-hyun's location, but the human's mind seemed to be everywhere. His thoughts echoed through the tunnels like his voice, impossible to pinpoint. Finally, they emerged into a large chamber. It was circular, about 50 meters across, with a high ceiling supported by metal columns. Emergency lights cast everything in red. In the center of the room stood a figure. It was a man in worn mining armor, holding a makeshift weapon that looked like a mining laser modified for combat. He stood perfectly still, waiting. There, Taejin aimed his railgun and fired without hesitation. The shot was perfect. It should have hit the target center mass. But when the projectile struck, the figure flickered like a broken hologram and disappeared. Decoy, Hyejin breathed. Suddenly, the chamber filled with light. 50 identical holograms of Do-hyun Park appeared around them, all laughing. The sound came from every direction, surrounding them completely. "Okay," said the real voice from somewhere in the darkness above them. "Round 1 goes to me. Let us see how you handle round 2. The holograms all raised their weapons in perfect unison. Team Apex stood back to back in the center of the chamber, finally realizing that this mission was going to be much harder than they thought. They were not hunting Do-hyun Park. He was hunting them. Vexra's mind worked fast. They were surrounded by holograms, trapped in a chamber with only one visible exit. Her training told her to stay calm and think tactically. Panic killed soldiers faster than bullets. "Spread out," she ordered quietly. "These are just projections. Find the real exit. Stay in communication range." Team Apex moved carefully, each member going in a different direction. The holograms of Do-hyun Park watched them with identical smiles but did not attack. They just stood there waiting. Hyejin approached one hologram and passed her hand through it. The image flickered but remained solid-looking. Advanced projection technology. He must have stolen it from a coalition science facility. Or built it himself, Cumin said. He was trying to sense any real human presence in the room, but something was interfering with his abilities. Static filled his mind like white noise. "He is jamming my psychic senses. I cannot locate him." Grixon examined the walls with his forearms, checking for weak points. "These walls are reinforced. Very thick. Would take serious explosives to break through. But I can do it if needed." "No," Vexra said. "He might be counting on that. This whole chamber could be rigged to collapse if we damage the structure. We need to outthink him, not outmuscle him." Taejin found what looked like a doorway on the far side of the chamber. It was dark, leading into another tunnel. "Exit here." "But it could be another trap." "Everything is a trap," Vexra replied. "We go through anyway. That is our job." They regrouped and moved toward the exit. As they approached, the hologram suddenly vanished, plunging the chamber into darkness except for the red emergency lights. Then from the speakers, Do-hyun's voice returned. "Not bad. You are smarter than the last team they sent. Those guys tried to shoot all the holograms, wasted a lot of ammunition, but you 5 actually used your brains. I appreciate that. What do you want, Park?" Vexra called out to the empty air. "Why not just kill us?" "You have had plenty of chances." A pause. Then laughter. "Kill you? Why would I do that?" "You are worth more alive." "Explain," Vexra demanded. "Think about it. The mighty coalition sends their best team to catch one human. If you all die, they send another team. And another. Eventually, they might win. But if I let you live, if I send you back to your commander after I beat you, that sends a better message. It tells everyone that humans cannot be conquered." "Not really. Not if we decide to fight." Cumin frowned. "He is not just fighting for himself. He is fighting for an idea. He wants to inspire others." "Smart boy," Do-hyun's voice said. "You must be the psychic." "Yeah, you are right. Every human who hears about this will think twice about accepting coalition rule. Every alien who hears about this will think twice about underestimating us. One man with basic tools making fools of the galaxy's best soldiers. That is a story that spreads." "You are insane," Taejin said coldly. "Maybe. Or maybe I just understand psychology better than you do. Your commanders think fear and power are enough to control people. They are wrong. Hope is stronger than fear, and I am giving people hope." The team moved through the doorway into the next tunnel. This one was narrower, forcing them to walk in pairs. Vexra and Hyejin led the way. Taejin and Grixon followed. Cumin stayed in the middle, still trying to break through the psychic interference. The tunnel stretched ahead for about 100 meters before splitting into 3 separate paths. Each path looked identical. No signs, no marks, no indication of which way to go. He is testing us, Hyejin said. Seeing how we make decisions under pressure. Vexra studied each tunnel carefully. Cumin, anything? The psychic shook his head. Still jammed. But the interference is stronger down the left path. That might mean he is there, or it might mean he wants us to think he is there. Middle path, Vexra decided. It gives us the most options if we need to retreat. They took the middle tunnel. It sloped downward, going deeper underground. The temperature dropped noticeably. Their breath came out in small clouds. The walls here were natural rock, not the smooth metal of the upper levels. After 5 minutes of walking, they entered another chamber. This one was different. It was smaller, maybe 20 meters across and filled with old mining equipment. Drilling machines, conveyor belts, and heavy machinery sat silent and still, covered in dust. Clear, Hyejin reported after scouting ahead. No movement. No heat signatures, but Grixon was staring at something. His forearms pointed at different pieces of equipment. These machines are not old. Look at the dust pattern. It has been disturbed recently. Someone has been using this room. Before anyone could respond, the floor beneath Taijin suddenly gave way. It happened so fast he barely had time to shout. He fell into darkness, his railgun arm firing automatically as he tried to grab onto something. The rest of the team rushed to the edge of the hole. They looked down and saw Taijin floating in a strange, thick liquid that glowed faintly blue. He was not sinking, but he was not able to climb out either. The liquid was some kind of gel that held him suspended. Zero-gravity gel, Hyejin identified, used in mining operations to safely transport workers through vertical shafts. But this trap should not be here. We scanned this room. The floor was a hologram, Cumin realized. He projected an image of solid ground over the pit. When Taijin stepped on it, he fell through. Taijin's voice came through their comms, angry and frustrated. Get me out of this. Before they could figure out how, the room began changing. Walls slid aside, revealing hidden compartments. From those compartments came dozens of small flying drones, each equipped with lights and cameras. He is recording this, Vexra said. He is going to show the galaxy what happened here. Hyejin tried to disappear, her body bending light to become invisible. But the drones immediately adjusted, shining lights in patterns that canceled out her camouflage. She became visible again, exposed. Adaptive sensors, she said with frustration. He built them specifically to counter my abilities. Grixon roared and began placing explosive charges. I will destroy these machines. Wait, Cumin warned. If you do that, the gel container might rupture. Taijin could drown. Grixon hesitated, his destructive instincts held in check by concern for his teammate. Do-hyun's voice returned, sounding almost apologetic. Sorry about this, Team Apex, but I needed to separate you. 5 against 1 are bad odds. But 1 against 1? That is much more fair. Do not worry about your sniper friend. The gel will keep him safe. Uncomfortable, but safe. Another section of the floor opened up. This time everyone jumped back in time. But the hole revealed a room below filled with bright white light. So bright it hurt to look at. Hyejin, I built that one just for you, Do-hyun continued. Full spectrum lighting. Every wavelength all at once. You cannot hide in there. Your shadow walking abilities need darkness to work. Sorry, but you are going in. The floor beneath Hyejin's feet tilted suddenly, sliding her toward the hole. She tried to grab onto something, but the surface had become smooth and slick. She fell into the white room, landing hard on a padded floor. Immediately the hole sealed above her. Through her comm, they heard her cursing in frustration. 3 left, Do-hyun said. Grixon, I have something special planned for you. See, your species loves explosives. You carry enough firepower to destroy this entire complex. But what happens when an explosion expert gets trapped in a place where any explosion would kill him? The walls around Grixon suddenly slammed together. They formed a cube about 3 meters on each side, trapping him inside. The walls were transparent so the others could see him, but they could not reach him. Grixon immediately began analyzing the walls, looking for weaknesses. But a display screen lit up inside his prison, showing a message. Walls made of explosive reactive armor. Any detonation will trigger a chain reaction. You die, your friends die, this whole mountain comes down. Think carefully. Grixon went very still. He was trapped by his own expertise. Now it is just you two, Do-hyun said to Vexra and Cumin, the leader and the psychic. Let us see how you do without your team. Vexra's cybernetic eyes scanned the room for any sign of their target. Her claws extended, ready for close combat. Cumin pressed his hands to his temples, trying harder to break through the psychic interference. He is good, Cumin admitted. Better than our intelligence suggested. He has planned for everything. No one plans for everything, Vexra replied. He is human. Humans make mistakes. We just need to find his mistake and exploit it. But in the back of her mind, doubt was growing. They had been hunting for less than 2 hours and already 3 of her 5 team members were captured. She was supposed to be the best. Team Apex never failed. Yet here they were, being systematically taken apart by one human with improvised equipment and home-ground advantage. For the first time in her long career, Vexra wondered if they might actually lose. Vexra and Cumin moved carefully through the tunnels. They had lost 3 teammates in less than an hour. The mighty Team Apex legends across the galaxy were being picked apart like amateurs. It was humiliating. It was also terrifying. He is playing with us, Cumin said quietly. His head hurt from trying to penetrate the psychic interference. He could have killed us already. Instead, he is making a point. Vexra's tail swished behind her, a sign of her growing frustration. Then we stop playing his game. We make our own rules. How? He controls the environment. He knows these tunnels better than we do. He has had months to prepare traps. Everyone has weaknesses, Vexra insisted. He is human. Humans are emotional. They make mistakes when they get overconfident. They entered what looked like a living area. There was a makeshift bed, a small cooking station, and shelves filled with supplies. This was where Do-hyun had been staying. Old Earth books sat stacked in one corner. A picture frame showed a group of smiling people at what looked like a mining colony celebration. Do-hyun was in the picture, younger and happier, surrounded by friends who were probably dead now. He lost everything, Cumin said, touching the frame gently. Family, friends, home. The coalition took it all. That is why he fights. Not for victory, for revenge. Then he is driven by emotion, Vexra replied. That is his weakness. Emotional fighters make mistakes. But as she said it, she noticed something. The room was too perfect. Too obvious. Like it was meant to be found. This is another trap, she realized. Cumin nodded. I feel it too. He wants us here. They turned to leave, but the door sealed shut behind them. Heavy metal panels slammed down over every exit. They were trapped. Lights flickered on, revealing the truth. The entire room was a cage. The walls were reinforced steel. The floor was solid metal. There was no way out. Do-hyun's voice came through hidden speakers. Smart of you to realize it was a trap. Not smart enough to avoid it, but still points for trying. Vexra snarled. What now? You kill us? No, now we talk. A screen on the wall activated, showing Do-hyun's face. He was sitting in what looked like a control room, surrounded by monitors and equipment. He looked tired but alert. There was no cruelty in his expression. Just determination. You have won, Vexra said. You captured us. You proved your point. What more do you want? Do-hyun leaned back in his chair. I want you to understand something. You are not my enemies. Not really. You are just soldiers following orders. The coalition is my enemy. The system that took my world and called it progress. The system that treats entire species like resources to be exploited. Cumin stepped closer to the screen. You cannot win. Even if you defeat us, they will send more. The coalition has infinite resources. Maybe, Do-hyun agreed. But I do not need to win. I just need to fight. Every battle I survive, every team I defeat spreads the message. Humans do not surrender. Humans do not give up. And most importantly, humans are dangerous when you back them into a corner. Vexra studied his face carefully. You know you will die eventually. This is not sustainable. Everyone dies eventually, Do-hyun replied. The question is what you do with the time you have. I choose to fight. I choose to make the coalition bleed for every inch of ground they take. I choose to show other humans that resistance is possible. Cumin suddenly gasped. The psychic interference had dropped. He could feel Do-hyun's mind now, clear and sharp. And what he felt shocked him. You are not crazy, Cumin said with surprise. Your mind is perfectly rational, focused. You know exactly what you are doing. Do-hyun smiled. Did you think I was some mad terrorist? No, I am an engineer. Engineers solve problems. The coalition is a problem. I am working on solutions. By trapping us in a cage, Vexra challenged. By showing you the truth, Do-hyun corrected. Look at your team. 3 humans, 1 feline, 1 alien demolitions expert. The coalition recruited you from different worlds. gave you different modifications, trained you to kill efficiently. But did they ever tell you why? Did they ever explain what they are really doing? They maintain order, Vexra said, though her voice lacked certainty. They maintain control, Do-Yun countered. There is a difference. Order means peace. Control means obedience. The coalition does not want peace. They want everyone to follow their rules without question. Cumin felt something shift in his mind. Doubt. He had served the coalition for years, believing he was helping to unite the galaxy. But Do-Hyun's words echoed thoughts he had pushed away, questions he had been afraid to ask. Why are you telling us this? Cumin asked. Because you are human, Do-Hyun said simply. You and Taijin and Hijin. You have human blood, human minds, human hearts. The coalition took you young, trained you to think like them, fight like them. But deep down you are still human, and humans have a choice. Vexra stepped between Cumin and the screen. Stop. You're trying to turn them against the coalition. That is psychological warfare. Yes, Do-Hyun admitted freely. It is. Just like the coalition uses psychological warfare to convince conquered species that resistance is hopeless. I am just using the same tactics in reverse. The screen split, showing different camera views. One showed Taijin still floating in the zero-gravity gel, looking miserable. Another showed Hyejin sitting in her white room, covering her eyes from the harsh light. The third showed Grixon trapped in his transparent cube, afraid to move. Your team is intact, Do-Hyun said. Uncomfortable but unharmed. I could have killed all of you. I have weapons, explosives, traps that would have been lethal. But I chose not to use them. Do you know why? Neither Vexra nor Cumin answered. Because dead martyrs are useful to the coalition, Do-Hyun explained. They can say, look what happens when you resist. But living witnesses are different. You will go back to your commander. You will file reports. Other soldiers will hear about this. They will learn that one human with basic equipment defeated Team Apex. And they will start to wonder, if one human can do this, what could 10 do? What could 1,000 do? What could 1,000,000 do? Vexra's claws scraped against the metal floor. You are gambling with your life. We will escape. We will hunt you again. Maybe, Do-Hyun said. But for now, I have a choice to make. I can let you go, or I can keep you prisoner forever. What do you think I should do? Cumin and Vexra exchanged glances. This was not how missions were supposed to go. They were predators, not prey, hunters, not hunted, but somehow Do-Hyun had reversed everything. I think, Cumin said slowly. You have already made your decision. You are going to let us go. Because dead enemies become symbols of violence, but defeated enemies become examples of mercy. You want the galaxy to see humans as righteous, not ruthless. Do-Hyun nodded approvingly. Very good. You understand psychological warfare better than most. But there is a catch, Cumin continued. You want something from us first? Smart man, Do-Hyun said. Yes, here is my offer. I will release all of you. Safe and sound. No harm, no tricks. You can go back to your commander and tell him whatever you want. But in exchange, I want you to think about what I have said. Really think about it. Consider whether the coalition deserves your loyalty. Consider whether fighting your own species is worth the rewards they give you. Vexra growled low in her throat. You are asking them to betray their oaths. I am asking them to question their oaths, Do-Hyun corrected. There is a difference. Blind loyalty is slavery. Conscious choice is freedom. The room fell silent except for the quiet hum of machinery. Cumin could feel the weight of the decision pressing on him. Part of him wanted to reject Do-Hyun's words outright. But another part, a quieter part he usually ignored, was listening. Time is up, Do-Hyun said. I am releasing you now. All of you. You will find your way back to the surface. Your transport ship is still waiting. Go back to your commander. File your reports. Tell him that Do-Hyun Park sends his regards. The cage door hissed open. Vexra tensed, expecting another trap. But nothing happened. The path ahead was clear. One more thing, Do-Hyun's voice said as they prepared to leave. Remember this day. Remember that a human gave you mercy when he could have given you death. Remember that the next time the coalition orders you to attack another human settlement, maybe next time you will hesitate. And in that hesitation there is hope. The screen went dark. Vexra and Cumin looked at each other, neither speaking. Then they moved forward to find their teammates and escape this place. But both of them knew that something had changed. Do-Hyun Park had gotten into their heads, and ideas once planted were very hard to remove. 6 hours later, Team Apex stood on the surface of Tertius 7, dirty, exhausted, and humiliated. The rescue had been easy, too easy. Do-hyun had released all the traps remotely. Taejin was pulled from the gel. Heejin was freed from the White Room. Grixon's cage opened without incident. They had all been returned to the surface through tunnels that lit up like a guided path. Their transport ship waited where they had left it. No damage, no sabotage. It was as if Do-hyun wanted them to leave safely. Commander Velrus appeared on the ship's communication screen as they boarded. His reptilian face showed barely contained rage. "Report," he demanded. Vexra stood at attention, her pride wounded but her professionalism intact. "Mission failed, Commander." The target evaded capture. He demonstrated superior tactical knowledge of the terrain and used improvised technology to neutralize our team. "Neutralized?" Velrus repeated the word slowly, dangerously. "You are Team Apex. You do not get neutralized by one human with mining equipment." "He was prepared for us," Vexra explained. "He knew our strengths and planned counters for each one. He separated us systematically and trapped us without causing lethal harm." Velrus leaned closer to the screen. "Without lethal harm? He let you live?" "Yes, sir. Why?" Vexra hesitated. How could she explain Do-hyun's strategy? How could she tell her commander that the human was fighting a propaganda war, not just a military one? "He wanted us to survive," she said finally. "He wanted witnesses. He wanted the story to spread that he defeated Team Apex." The command deck fell silent. Velrus's eyes burned with fury, but also something else. Fear. He understood immediately what Do-hyun had done. One human defeating the coalition's best team would inspire resistance across 100 worlds. "This is unacceptable," Velrus said quietly. "Orbital bombardment is authorized. I want that entire region turned to glass. Park dies today." "No," Cumin spoke up suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. He rarely contradicted direct orders. That would prove his point. "Explain," Velrus ordered. Cumin stepped forward. "Sir, Park wants to be a martyr. If you kill him from orbit, you make him a hero. The story becomes human resists until the mighty coalition has to destroy a mountain to stop him. That inspires more resistance, not less." Velrus considered this. His tactical mind worked through the implications. Cumin was right. A dead hero was more dangerous than a living fugitive. "Then what do you suggest?" Velrus asked. "We leave him alone," Cumin said. "For now. We spread our own story. We tell the galaxy that Park is insignificant. One crazy human hiding in a hole is not worth our attention. We make him seem pathetic, not powerful. We take away his narrative." Taejin looked at Cumin with surprise. This was clever thinking. Maybe too clever. It almost sounded like Cumin was trying to protect Do-hyun. Velrus thought for a long moment. "Very well. We withdraw from Tertius 7, but we maintain surveillance. If Park tries to leave the planet, we intercept him. If he attacks again, we respond with overwhelming force. For now, we let him rot in his tunnels, forgotten and irrelevant." The screen went dark. The transport ship lifted off, leaving Tertius 7 behind. As they flew toward the Sovereign Dawn, the team sat in silence. Each member was lost in their own thoughts. Grixon was angry at himself for being trapped. Heejin felt foolish for falling into obvious traps. Taejin was frustrated that his skills had been useless, but Cumin and Vexra were thinking about something deeper. They were thinking about Do-hyun's words. "Do you believe him?" Cumin asked Vexra quietly when they were alone in the crew quarters. "Believe what?" "That we are fighting for the wrong side." Vexra's tail twitched. "It does not matter what I believe. I am a soldier. I follow orders. That is not an answer." Vexra turned to face him. "What do you want me to say? That a human terrorist made me question everything I have worked for? That one conversation in a cage made me doubt the coalition I have served for 20 years? "Yes," Cumin said simply, "because that is what I am feeling. And I think you are too." Before Vexra could respond, Heejin entered the room. She looked at both of them carefully. "I heard what he said," she admitted. "About us being human. About having a choice." Taejin appeared in the doorway behind her. "We all heard it. The question is, what do we do about it?" The four of them looked at each other. A feline soldier, 3 modified humans, all questioning their purpose for the first time. "Nothing," Vexra said firmly. "We do nothing. We file our reports, accept our failure, and move on to the next mission. Park is one man. The coalition is an empire." His words changed nothing. But even as she said it, she knew it was not true. Words had power. Ideas had power. Do-hyun Park had planted seeds of doubt that would grow whether they wanted them to or not. Meanwhile, back on Tertius 7, Do-hyun sat in his workshop watching the transport ship disappear into the sky. He took a long drink from his last beer, savoring it. The can was old, probably past its expiration date, but it tasted like home, like Earth, like freedom. He had won this round. Team Apex had been defeated without a single death. The story would spread just as he had planned. Other humans in other colonies would hear about it. They would know that resistance was possible. They would know that the coalition could be beaten. But Do-hyun was not foolish. He knew this victory was temporary. The coalition would come again. Maybe not Team Apex, but someone else. Someone stronger, smarter, more prepared. Eventually, they would probably win. Eventually, he would probably die, but that was fine. He had never expected to survive forever. He had only expected to matter, to make a difference, to show the galaxy that humans would not go quietly into submission. He set down the empty beer can and picked up a tool. There was work to do, new traps to build, new defenses to plan, new ways to make the coalition regret ever coming to his world. A small alert sounded on his monitor. Movement detected in Sector 12. He pulled up the camera feed and saw something unexpected. A figure in coalition armor, walking toward one of his surface access points. Alone. Unarmed. Do-hyun zoomed in and recognized the face. Kyo-min Han, the psychic. He was coming back. Do-hyun considered his options. This could be a trick, a way to track him or plant a beacon. But his instincts told him something different. The way Kyo-min moved, hesitant but determined, suggested this was not a military operation. Do-hyun opened a communication channel to the surface speakers near Kyo-min's location. "Hello again," he said. "Lost something?" Kyo-min looked up at the speaker. "I need to talk to you alone, no weapons. No tricks, why would I trust you?" "Because you already won," Kyo-min replied. "You got into my head. You made me think. Now I need answers." Do-hyun smiled. This was unexpected, but good. "Very good. Tunnel entrance Alpha," he said. "Follow the blue lights. But if this is a trap, you should know I have enough explosives rigged to bury us both." "It is not a trap," Kyo-min promised. "I just want to talk." 30 minutes later, Kyo-min stood in Do-hyun's workshop, looking around at the improvised technology with professional admiration. Do-hyun sat on a workbench, completely relaxed despite having a coalition operative in his home. "So," Do-hyun said, "what do you want to talk about?" Kyo-min took a deep breath. "You said humans have a choice. I want to know what choice you think I should make." "That is not for me to decide," Do-hyun replied. "You have to figure that out yourself." "But you have an opinion." "Of course. I think you should stop fighting for people who do not care about you. I think you should remember that you are human first, coalition soldier second. I think you should use your abilities to help your own species instead of hunting them. And if I do that, the coalition will kill me." "Probably," Do-hyun agreed. "But at least you will die free. Die knowing you chose your own path." Kyo-min was quiet for a long time. "I do not know if I am that brave." "Bravery is not about being fearless," Do-hyun said. "It is about being afraid and doing the right thing anyway. You came back here alone. That took courage. The question is, what will you do with that courage?" "I do not know yet," Kyo-min admitted. "That is okay," Do-hyun said. "Take your time. Think about it. When you are ready to decide, you will know." Kyo-min nodded slowly. He turned to leave, then paused. "They are going to come back for you, with more soldiers, more weapons. I know you cannot win forever. I know that too." "Then why keep fighting?" Do-hyun smiled. "Because someone has to. Because every day I survive is another day humans have hope. Because the coalition needs to learn that some things cannot be conquered, no matter how much power you have." Kyo-min left the workshop with his mind full of questions. Above ground, the rest of Team Apex waited for him, wondering where he had gone. He would tell them he got lost in the tunnels. They would probably believe him. But inside, Kyo-min knew the truth. He had not gotten lost. He had found something. A different perspective. A different possibility. He had found doubt in his certainty. And once you started doubting, you could never go back to blind faith. Do-hyun watched the transport ship leave for the second time that day. He opened his workbench drawer and found one more beer can he had forgotten about. A bonus. He cracked it open and raised it toward the sky. Hold my beer, he said to the empty desert. This is going to be fun. Somewhere in the galaxy, the story was already spreading. The story of one human who made the Coalition's best team look foolish. The story of resistance that refused to die. The story was just beginning.